Hi guys, welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. I hope you're doing amazing today. This video is going to be all about spring and all about fragrances. So I'm going to show you my 10 most used and abused fragrances this season, but there's a catch. I'm not going to talk about fragrances that everybody raves about on YouTube. I'm going to focus on a little bit more alternative fragrances. So if you want to find out what I prepared for you, keep watching this video. So I'm going to start with a fragrance I rediscovered recently. This is Calvin Klein Contradiction. And I mean, this fragrance has been discontinued a couple of years ago, I think. You can still purchase it in a great price. And this is something I used when I was like in my early 20s, and I was really curious if I still like it. So I recently purchased the bottle, as you can see. I actually quite like the design of the bottle too. And I have to tell you, I still like it. This is a gorgeous floral scent. It is a little bit mineral, it is a little bit metallic. It's not too flowery, if you know what I mean. It's not like a flower bouquet. So this is nice floral fragrance with quite prominent notes of like lily of the valley and lilac. I mean, these notes, I actually find them really comforting. But if you asked me if like I would like to wear these notes on myself, on my body, I would say no. I mean, these are more like a granny type of notes, but this fragrance is actually very young, very like, it's not very girly, it's more like young at heart. Gorgeous flower bouquet of lilac, lily of the valley, some rose, some jasmine, and that's actually embedded in like sandalwood tonka kind of a combo. It's not as sweet as it may sound. If you're afraid of like sweet fragrances, this really is not that sweet. It's more like a woody white floral fragrance. I find it gorgeous. I think it's like a perfect fragrance for when you want to smell lovely, but you don't really want to seem like you tried too hard. It's like a perfect, like a t-shirt and jeans type of fragrance. It's just gorgeous. Next up, we have one of my recent blind buys. It was a good one, I have to tell you. I actually purchased this in my spring fragrance haul. If you want to see the video, I'm going to link it above my head. So if you just want to find out what I actually purchased in my spring haul, have a look there. So this is Alaya Nude. I mean, I do love this bottle. It's just gorgeous. This fragrance is actually not too complicated, but because of the fact that the main note here is cashmeran, it actually gives you like all sorts of like notes that people actually find there. Many people say this smells a little bit like coconut. There's no coconut. The cashmeran has this kind of like musky, coconutty vibe. This is pretty much cashmeran and tonka. There are some other notes here, but it's like cedar. There is some musk, there's leather, tonka bean, and orange blossom. I don't really get much of orange blossom, to be honest, but this fragrance is actually quite often compared to surprisingly, to Versace Cristal Noir. A completely different fragrance. I mean, this is like an everyday fragrance. I mean, it can work as an everyday fragrance. It is quite close to skin. It's like a very, not necessarily sexy, but it's very sensual. Whereas Cristal Noir is pretty much all the other things. It's super sexy, super powerful with massive sillage. It's not like for everybody. I do like both of them, but this one is a little bit more unique in my opinion. It's just gorgeous, close to skin scent. It doesn't remind me of anything. Honestly, I'm so glad I have this in my collection, and I do recommend testing this fragrance. If you haven't tried it yet, try it. I think this could even be a safe blind buy if you like cashmeran. Alright, so yeah, there's this one. Highly recommended. So let's move on to something else now. Okay, let's go with this one. So this is Black Opium Intense version, and this is the one with the blue bottle. I don't know if you can properly see the color. So here's the thing about me and Black Opium in general. I don't really love the original fragrance. I mean, I do like that scent when I just smell it on other people, but on me, it's like there's something missing. I don't know. I just didn't really love it. I didn't really enjoy it. It was just there. It was just alright. Obviously, another thing, this fragrance was like massively overused by everybody. Everybody had like a bottle of original Black Opium, so it was like everywhere. And as I mentioned, there was something missing for me. And I found that missing bit in here. I don't know what changed it, but this actually smells on my skin the way I actually wanted the original one to smell. So don't get me wrong. If you hate the original version, this is not something that's going to change your mind. This is still, it still has the same DNA. It's still like a very, very similar fragrance, but there are some notes that make it a little bit different. So obviously this is still coffee, vanilla concoction, but this time we actually have a very prominent absinthe note, and this changes the vibe of this fragrance completely to me. Like, for example, the original Black Opium is like a very autumnal or wintry fragrance. This one, I would say it's more spring-like. It's not like an everyday fragrance, obviously. It's more like a spring or summer evening, but there's definitely something a little lighter and airier about this fragrance. I mean, obviously, it's still very sweet. There is some extra licorice in this one. So yeah, as you can guess, quite sweet. But this absinthe note, it actually makes it a little bit more enjoyable for me. So definitely I would recommend this fragrance for everybody who was missing something in the original fragrance. That's an interesting alternative and a good idea for springtime. Also, if you are a massive fan of the original one and you're looking for something more spring-like, this could be a good choice. Okay, let's move on. Now we have Sunset Riot by All Saints. So this is a perfect fragrance for everybody who's looking for Baccarat Rouge dupes. This is like a spring daily kind of version of the famous Baccarat Rouge, right? I mean, obviously this is not a dupe. This fragrance is different, but it kind of gives you a very similar vibe. I would say most of these fragrances are not dupes. They are inspired, from like slightly inspired to heavily inspired. This one is actually quite, I would say, heavily inspired. The only thing I don't like about it, but this is just my thoughts, it's a little bit like medicinal in the opening, but it just disappears within like a couple of seconds. Other than that, I just find it like a much airier, lighter version of Baccarat Rouge, perfect for spring, for daytime. You could probably even wear this in the office. You know, the original Baccarat Rouge is quite a massive sillage, so you don't really want, unless you do want, but usually you don't really want everybody to have like a headache around you, because there are some people who are sensitive to fragrances. This one is much closer to skin, and I think it's a good alternative if you still want to wear it, but you kind of want to be more subtle with it. Next fragrance is Chloe Nomad, and this is Eau de Toilette. Bear in mind that Eau de Toilette and Eau de Parfum are very different in case of this fragrance. Eau de Parfum is much sweeter, much spicier. This one is pretty much oak moss and a little bit of lychee on top of that. I do love the simplicity of this fragrance. I do love the green notes in here. I'm not usually a massive fan of green notes, but here the oak moss combination with lychee is just gorgeous, guys. This is like a perfect springtime fragrance. I think spring and summer. I mean, obviously this is something you could wear in summer. I can't really imagine wearing this in autumn and winter. It's just such a sunny, warm fragrance. Yeah, I love it. I literally love it. But this is Eau de Toilette. Eau de Parfum, in my opinion, it's better for like late summer, even autumn maybe. This one, perfect springtime scent though. Okay, so Chloe Nomad was quite simple fragrance. We're going to an even simpler one. This is Jo's Rhubarb by Zara Emotions. So if you love Jo Malone, yet you don't really want to break the bank to buy a fragrance, this is a good alternative. This is Jo's Rhubarb, their newest fragrance for this year. And this smells like rhubarb. This smells like rhubarb. It's quite like uplifting, joyful, playful kind of scent. If you love rhubarb, if you love Jo Malone, then go and try it. It's inexpensive, it's really affordable. And I mean, obviously this is Eau de Parfum. It doesn't really last as long as the Eau de Parfum should last. But if you compare it to Jo Malone's colognes, the lasting power is very similar. But the price point yeah, the price is much cheaper here, so definitely something worth considering. So next up we have Pure Gold by Montale. And you know, the bottle is what it is. I'm not a massive fan. I think many people actually complain that the bottles don't really look that gorgeous. But you know, it is what it is, right? This fragrance is actually quite cool. This is apricot and musk pretty much. Yeah, this scent smells like so expensive to me. Like, it doesn't smell like anything I smelled before. It's just musk and apricot, and yeah, there are some floral notes in here too, but I can't really believe how expensive this smells. So if you want to smell expensive, you can try this. This is like a 50 mils. It's not super expensive, so I think it's a good one to try. I'm not sure if this is like a safe blind buy, because this fragrance, as I said, is quite unique. So it's probably best to try it before buying it. But this is like a perfect, expensive smelling spring fragrance. So next one is again one of my recent discoveries, and probably the cheapest fragrance I've ever purchased. I think it was like £9 or something. This is Adam Levine for hair. And guys, you know, just go and buy it. It's cheap. It's unbelievably cheap. It just smells gorgeous. I mean, I wouldn't believe if somebody told me, but this is gorgeous. This smells like a niche fragrance, okay? So it's spicy, it's woody, it has some flower notes in here. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous scent. It's a little bit powdery too. So if you like that type of scent, I mean, obviously you can't really go wrong for that price. If you don't like it, you just give it to someone who will like it, because I'm pretty sure this is a gorgeous, gorgeous scent, honestly. It doesn't have like a massive lasting power, but I don't think you can expect anything amazing for £9 or like around £10. But yeah, this is one of the very few celebrity fragrances I actually love. I did a celebrity fragrance blind buy haul recently. If you want to watch this video, I'm going to link it above my head. So yeah, have a look at that one too. So we had a cheap fragrance. Let's move on to something more expensive. This is by Riot Gypsy Water, and personally I do love Byredo. I do love it. I know many people actually complain that for a niche brand they're not very original, they're not very unique, but that's what I actually like about them. I do love like super unique fragrances sometimes, but generally I do prefer fragrances that are rather wearable. And this is just gorgeous. This is like a perfect unisex fragrance. I think it's super sexy on a woman, but it would smell nice on a man too. It's gorgeous, oh my god. So this is a woody, spicy fragrance with some juniper in it, sandalwood, some incense notes. I mean, it's gorgeous. I do love it. It's one of my favorite from this brand, and it's perfect for spring. So that leads us to the last fragrance in this collection, and this is Aura, the sensual version. So there is something about me and Mugler's flankers. I just love pretty much any flanker they release. I'm not so keen on the original fragrances though, for some reason. I don't know. I just find flankers like super interesting. And this is no difference. Obviously, this is a flanker of the original Aura. And I have to tell you, this one is just gorgeous. There are like very prominent green notes in here, some flowers, some woodiness. It's quite sweet, so if you don't really like sweet fragrances, this might not be for you. But I just find it so like uplifting, refreshing. I kind of find it like super exciting around that time of the year. So definitely a perfect springtime scent. And this comes from a person who doesn't really love the original one. So bear that in mind. If you love the original one, maybe you will not enjoy this one so much. They're just different. Obviously, there are similarities in the DNA. This is not like a completely different fragrance, but as I said, I just find the flankers more exciting than the originals in this case. Okay, there you go. These are my 10 alternative fragrances for this spring. What do you think, guys? Do you own any of these fragrances, or maybe you're thinking about purchasing any of them? Please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, if you're interested in more fragrance videos, check out the videos on my left side. You might find something you like. Thank you very much for watching. See you very soon. Bye!